Bryce Duskett here on the Rural Radio Network, and we're doing another one of our spotlights as we look back with an ag group of 2022 and preview what's to come in the new year. Today, we're joined by Steve Martin. He is the Executive Director of the Alliance for the Future of Agriculture in Nebraska, or AFAN for short. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you, Bryce. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Before we look back on 2022, AFAN's kind of a unique group and a unique structure. So I want to ask you, how do you measure success year to year? And then, like I said, we'll look back here in a second.
That's a great question, Bryce. And for those that aren't familiar with AFAN, we are a nonprofit organization that was started by all the commodity groups about 15 years ago. We also have private members. So if you're a business or an individual that want to support what we do, which is grow the livestock industry in Nebraska, we do have membership for that too. So getting back to your question about how do we measure success, this year we tried something new, and what we did is we worked on a lot of different projects through the year. Some of them were small, some of them were really big, and we came up with about 35 different unique projects that we worked on, all sectors of livestock, all species. Some of it was processing, some of it was on farm, finished barns, things like that. And we added up, of all the ones that committed to build this next year or are in the process of building now, it's over $900 million worth of capital investment. So that's how we're looking at it this year.
Yeah, that is a big milestone. Those are some big numbers, as you mentioned them, Steve.
Yes.
Obviously, that's a big success story there. But as you look back on the year that it was, anything else in particular stand out for you that you're proud of the work that AFAN did?
We've kind of continued to grow naturally through the years, and so we're up to 4 full-time people now, and just we've stayed busy. We are getting the word out that we are a resource for farmers and ranchers. We're a resource for the economic development community to support what they do. So I think that's part of what's keeping us busy, is that people realize that we are a free resource for them. So we provide our services for free. Again, that's what, that membership makes that possible. But yeah, it's kept us really busy. And, I'm proud of that work that we're doing, that, we're helping some really small producers and we're helping some really large producers. We don't judge based on size. If they're viable projects, we want to support them.
Steve, it's been an interesting couple of years for the agriculture industry. So I'm not sure how I exactly asked this question. I'll ask it just the blunt way. Is now a good time to be thinking about expanding into livestock, or how would you size that up for us?
You're right. This has been an interesting couple of years, and inflation has really kind of set us back a little bit as far as some of our growth, and some of the construction costs have gotten so much higher than they were just a couple of years ago. But if you really look at it, those costs probably aren't going to go back down very much. We're probably more at a new normal. But if you start looking at the benefits of livestock, fertilizer costs have gone up tremendously too. So if you can capitalize on that manure, whether it's selling it to somebody that will value it, or using it on your own cropland, that's a way to offset a lot of cost in your cropping system. So that benefit is a trade-off, I guess, with the construction costs and other things going up.
All right, Steve, well, let's look ahead to what's to come in 2023. Any particular projects you guys have going on right now that you're excited about getting across the finish line in the new year?
We've got a fair number of projects that are kind of in the hopper right now. We still see growth in dairy industry. Milk Specialties in North Fork is doing about a $50 million expansion on their plant. That's going to take a lot more Nebraska milk as we get into next year and the year after. So that's exciting. It's creating just some natural growth in the dairy industry in Nebraska, where we haven't had that opportunity in the last probably 5 years or so. So we're looking at probably needing another 10,000 cows in the state, which we're at about 60,000 cows today. So that's, significant growth. We're also working on recruiting other dairy processing, and And we've had a number of companies call us and talk to our economic development department, the state economic development. And we know that they are interested in Nebraska. We believe that we have some really good things to offer the dairy industry, the processing industry. And we have a lot of dairy farmers from the West Coast, some of the states that are struggling with drought, with water, environmental regulations, that are really interested in Nebraska. We're kind of that farthest west state that has all the feed, the water, the resources that a dairy farm would need. So we see a lot of potential for growth in the dairy industry, and that's pretty exciting.
Steve, before I wrap up here, I want to ask you if one of our listeners or viewers is watching and listening today and they're interested in adding livestock or having that conversation with you to talk about its viability, what's the best way to reach out to you?
They can find all of our contact information on our website, which is becomeafan.org. And, all our phone numbers are on there, emails are on there. We do have a newsletter. If somebody wants just to see what we're doing on a monthly basis, they can subscribe to our newsletter. And if they want to become a member, that information is on the website also.
Great stuff. That's Steve Martin, the Executive Director of the Alliance for the Future of Agriculture in Nebraska, joining us as we wrap up 2022 and preview 2023. Here on the Rural Radio Network, I'm Bryce Duskett reporting.